The Titans are trash, but the Teen Titans are amazing. So, how's the Bat family without their patriarch? Let's find out. What's up, low hanging fruit? It's your boy, alldwightsmith, coming at you with another video on video games today. Today we will actually be talking about Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights is an action role-playing game where you can take up the mantle of one of the teenage repressed ninja bat kids in the form of either Batgirl, who I recommend you play with first before they cancel her as a playable character, Robin, the Tim Drake variant, so you don't have to worry about, never mind, there he is, Jason Todd, who is here but the roided out Red Hood version of him, and of course everyone's favorite spirit animal, Nightwing. It is set to be released on October 21st this year for PS5, Xbox Series XS, and Microsoft Windows specifically. Of course I have my own personal gripe with this because I don't have any of those consoles, but it is what it is. Broke boy's gonna be broke. And yeah, I know, because I'm broke, you're already tempted to hit the dislike button, but give me a second, I have points to make. Inspired by the Batman Gotham Knights comic series, the game focuses on the characters Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood as they attempt to restore justice to Gotham City during a period of decline. The game itself is confirmed to be set in a world after the deaths of not only Batman, but also everyone's favorite police commissioner with the sexiest white caterpillar on his face, Jim Gordon. The heroes will come into conflict with many villains from Batman's infamous rogue gallery, from the likes of Mr. Freezy, a newly visioned Harley Quinn, Faye, a penguin that unfortunately isn't Colin Farrell based, and the main bads of the game, the Court of Owls, a secret society that is as old as Gotham itself, along with these creepy freaks. But no need to fear, because you have supporting characters here, in the form of the trustworthy butler and guy who's totally not gonna die in this game, Alfred, and the new police captain, Renee Montoya, who definitely is out for revenge for her father. First, before we get into my points, I want to get into my own personal gripe with this game, is that they pulled this from the previous gen consoles, which I understand, broke boys gonna be broke, which unfortunately leaves handsome boys like myself in the wind and the dust. And yes, I do understand the march of time will go on with or without me and all my other broke boys, but that's not the point. The point is their original plans when they first announced the game was that they would release on all consoles, previous and new. And my personal gripe is that they switched that decision earlier this year when they were making more new reveals and stuff, trailers for this game. And yes, I do understand that they had to pull it from previous versions, so the technical aspects and the in-game mechanics and graphics doesn't have to be pretty much dumbed down for the previous generation. I do understand that, but they should have thought about all of that before they announced it this way, because now it just leaves me disappointed and heavy-hearted, really. But of course, enough of my woes without hoes. Let's get into expectations for this bad boy. So let me ask you all this. Do you remember what makes a game a great game? Exactly. Story to gameplay ratio. So in terms of story to gameplay ratio, this game unfortunately has a lot to make up for in the realm of gameplay. So I hope their story packs one hell of a Saitama-sized punch. Let me elaborate. Thus far, multiple gameplay trailers and even story trailers have been released for Gotham Knights, and not so great comments have been flying around about Gotham Knights' less than stellar gameplay mechanics. Of course, big props to WB Games for implementing optional co-op gameplay throughout the entire story mode. Always a plus to bring a friend in for some skull bashing. Though I personally believe there is some saving grace in this fighting RPG, most others do not, due to the removal of most of the gameplay from the tried and true Arkham series, which I'm still not 100% if this is supposed to be a follow-up to that or not. But no matter what, it is a spiritual successor that most people are looking at it as. And of course, because of all this, story has to pick up a lot of that slack. And thankfully, it just might, due to the fact that it is inspired by the Batman Gotham Knights comic book series, as I aforementioned, and multiple other Nightwing and Robin based comic books that have the Court of Owls as the lead antagonist. It has been portrayed in more than one comic book series that the Court of Owls seem to be more of the Bat Kids villains than Batman himself. I've always personally seen it as a big problem in Gotham that Batman himself never really got around to solving, or could really with his time and resources, even with his time and resources. and thus decided to let the new generation take care of it in the future. Kind of like how Odin dipped on Loki and Thor without even a bit of a warning as to what was coming after his departure. Deadbeat, daggone deadbeat. So, with a less than spectacular gameplay mechanics in game, but mixing with a tried and tested story throughout multiple comic book series should lead to the correct story to gameplay ratio needed to make this a great game. And is definitely 100% my opinion why we shouldn't just write it off just yet. Upon first hearing about a Batman sidekick focused game, I was already over the moon with excitement about this. I've always personally been more attributed and relatable to the Bat Kids than Batman himself, more specifically Nightwing, which is why I tend to have more hope than most others do for this property. It's really all about hope for me in this case. All of this hope is not only attributed to the Bat Kids and the Court of Owls story mode that we're going to be having here, but that can also be attributed to my love of RPG games, fighting games, and all of the sorts. So even though it doesn't look that great to me, the gameplay, it is still some vagrance of hope, especially with co-op included. The leveling up system in the game is fairly simple, with each character having their own unique move set, their own way to traverse the Gotham streets, their own leveling system, and of course their own unique ways that they handle combat / stealth situations. With Red Hood's ranged gun attacks, Nightwing's acrobatic melee, Robin's technological combat, and Batgirl's bat-tastic ass whoopings, as you can see here on the screen, everyone will be able to find a game style they enjoy playing. And you can, and definitely should, switch between characters during the story mode, so you will never be restricted to just one character. I believe you do have to do the switching of characters in the Belfry, which is the HQ for the game, which takes place during the transition from one part of the story to the next. Now, I have said a lot here, and I've joked a lot, I clowned a lot, but I truly do mean it when I say I really hope and want to enjoy this game with every ounce of my gamer blood. And I really wanted to shine and truly live up to its means and live outside of the shadows of the Arkham series. So be sure to drop your thoughts and your expectations for Gotham Knights, which should be releasing on October 21st, onto my Instagram or Twitter page at I'llBeFamousWDS, and let me know how you feel about it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, all that. And of course, be sure to share and subscribe to the channel whenever you get a chance. Every little bit helps. I appreciate you highly. Future Dwight, play me out.